Welcome to our channel. This is Ashish, and in this video we'll discuss about the interior of the urinary bladder. So apart from the interior of the bladder, in this video we'll discuss about the four other things. The one is the capacity, second is the arterial supply, third is the venous drainage, and fourth is the lymphatic drainage of the urinary bladder. We'll also discuss about the nerve supply. So the topic, the interior of the bladder, might seem a bit tricky in your books because the topic is a bit hard to visualize. So we'll try to simplify the topic, that is the interior of the bladder. So the interior of the bladder, how you can view? The first question arises, how can you view the interior of the bladder? It is possible when the person is dead by the autopsy. Second, at operation, there is some operation on the bladder, then you can see. Or the third one is the cytoscopy. What you are seeing here is actually the cytoscopy method, and this is the bladder as seen through a cytoscope. So in this part you can see the interior of the urinary bladder. How cytoscope is performed is very interesting, and that we will see in the heading, the clinical anatomy of the urinary bladder. So the interior of the bladder is visualized or seen through the visualized or examined by cytoscopy. The other possible ways are the autopsy and at the operation. As you know, the bladder is a muscular organ. There are several layers of structure forming the muscular coat are present. They include the serosa, mucosa. Apart from them, we have the connective tissue as well. So, suppose this is just a cut section of the bladder, and inside the bladder there is a layer of mucosa present. The mucosa show irregular folds. Okay, the mucosa is present irregularly and not firmly attached. So mucosa is not firmly attached, it is rather irregularly present in a wavy pattern all over the interior of the bladder except a particular region that is called the trigone of the bladder. So at some places it is firmly attached and it is arranged in a particular triangular shape. That's why it is called the trigone. So let's see how you can visualize this fact. Suppose this is the bladder, means the pointed anterior end is the apex, and this is the base. So in the lower part of the base there is a triangular region present on the interior aspect. So on the interior aspect of the lower part of the base, there is a triangular region where the mucosal fold is firmly adherent to the muscular coat. So where the trigone is present, see, on the posterior aspect we have the base, so on the lower part of the base, and on the interior aspect. So on the interior aspect of the lower part of the base, we have a region where the mucosal folds are firmly adherent to the muscular coat. So just imagine the blue line here denotes the muscular coat, and same will take at this plane of the paper, and above that this we have the posterior aspect of the bladder. So this is present in the interior part of this. See, now you can imagine where the trigone is present on the inferior aspect of the base of the bladder, and this is the mucosa. Mucosa is not firmly adherent and shows some folds in all the parts except at the trigone, in which both the layers are firmly adherent. So just take out the interior aspect of the posterior part of the base of the bladder. Then you can see this is suppose this is the base, this posterior part, and this is the mucosal folds. See, you can see the mucosal folds everywhere except the triangular region in which the apex point downwards and base points in the superior part. And here it is firmly adherent to the background, that is the muscular coat. So let's see the specialities of the trigone of the urinary bladder. But before discussing that, let's write down the points that we discussed now. So in the empty bladder, the major part of the mucosa show irregular folds. So in empty bladder, major part of mucosa show irregular fold like this. Like this it shows irregular fold. So in the empty bladder, major part of the mucosa have irregular fold due to its loose attachment. To the muscular coat. Okay, if you have any doubt or query, you can ask in the comment box below. Accept at a particular region which is called trigone. So accept at trigone at which it is firmly adherent. So let's see what are these particular peculiar features of the trigone, or what's so special about this trigone. So let's talk about the trigone. So as the name suggests, it is a triangular region on the posterior part of the bladder, that is at the base. See, at the base, lower part of the base. So I will keep it like this. So trigone is a triangular region where it is located at the lower part of the base of the bladder. So triangular region located at the lower part of the base of bladder, where the mucosa is firmly adherent. So at this we have mucosa firmly adherent in this area. The apex of the trigone points downward and forward. So the apex of trigone points or directs downward and forward like this. So it points downward and forward and is present like this. So you can see the trigone on the interior aspect, the triangular region. So what's so special about the apex of the trigone? The internal urethral sphincter or the internal urethral orifice is located here. So at the apex, internal urethral orifice is located. Okay. So the apex, what is located? Internal urethral orifice. So let us write it down here as well. Look. At the apex, internal urethral orifice is located here. That's all about the apex of the trigone. And as it is a triangular area, we will have an apex and the base. At the inferior lateral angles of the base, the openings of the ureter are located. So this is an important landmark where some important or the master openings of the bladder are located. So base is also very important because at the base, the upper part, the inferior lateral angles, the opening of the ureters are located. So these are the opening of ureters. So I hope I am making myself clear in regards to the interior of the bladder. So in the base at inferolateral angle, the opening of the two ureter, one on each side, is located. So at the inferolateral angle, opening of ureter is located. So when the ureter enters the trigone area, it is directed obliquely and not straight. In a empty bladder, the distance between the two ureter is a 2.5 cm, and in a distended urinary bladder, the distance doubles to around 5 cm. So you can write these points as well in your notes. So distance between two ureter in empty bladder, it's how much? It's 2.5 cm. Empty bladder is 2.5 cm, and in distended bladder or the bladder filled with urine, distended bladder, the distance doubles to around 5 cm. Let's see some other interesting facts about the interior of the bladder. At the lower part of the trigone over here, there is some elevation present just behind the internal urethral orifice. So let me try to make it. So you can see this cap and imagine it as a prostate gland. So the median lobe, suppose this is the median lobe of the prostate gland and it is present in the posterior part and pressing it at the lower part. So there is some elevation produced at the lower part of the trigone just behind the internal urethral orifice. This is called the vulva vesica. So vulva vesica is nothing but the elevation produced by the median lobe of the prostate at the lower part of the trigone behind the internal urethral orifice. So let's see what is vulva vesica. I hope the concept of the vulva vesica is very clear to you. It's nothing, just a slight elevation. So it is a slight elevation which is produced by median lobe. When we will discussing about the prostate gland, then I will tell you about this median lobe. So do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon below so that you can get the notification for the latest videos that I will be uploading. So there is slight elevation at the produced by the median lobe of prostate gland, and where it is located? At the lower part of the trigone, just behind the internal urethral orifice. Median lobe of the prostate gland. In our model, this was the median lobe. It was producing a slight elevation at the lower part of the trigone, just behind or posterior to the urethral orifice, posterior to the urethral orifice or the urethral opening. So it is not yet over. We have to discuss one more thing, that is called the bar of the Mercier or the ridge of the Mercier. Bar of Mercier or the ridge. We can also call it interuteric ridge. So interuteric ridge. So what is this actually, the bar of Mercier? So let me tell you, this is an important question from the Viva point of view. So if you're given a soft organ of the model of the bladder in your examination, the examiner can ask about the bar of the Mercier or the interuteric ridge. So let me tell you what is actually this. The name interuteric can signify or give an idea of what actually it is. So it's nothing, it's a ridge present. So I'm making the ridge with the help of a pen. So at the upper part, between the two ureters, you can see the ridge or the elevation. So this ridge or elevation produced between the two ureters is called the interureteric ridge or the bar of Mercier. Okay, I think the point is clear what is actually the bar of Mercier. And the pen which was producing this ridge is actually the inner longitudinal muscle. So this is the inner longitudinal muscle of the ureter, which continues at the trigone and form this elevation. So let us write it down what we have discussed. So it is a ridge or elevation produced by, what was this? Inner longitudinal muscle of ureter. So it is elevation produced by the continuation of inner longitudinal muscle of ureter. Note, it is ureter, not urinary bladder. So these are actually the muscles of the ureter which continues at the trigone and form this elevation between the two ureters. So like this we completed the interior of the bladder in a very simplified manner. So now let's discuss about the capacity of the bladder. Surprised by the fact that how immense the capacity of the bladder is despite its small size. The credit goes to the expansibility of the muscular cords. So let's discuss about the capacity of the bladder. How much of the bladder capacity is actually present in humans. So I am drawing the schematic diagram of a bladder. So suppose this tank is actually the bladder with certain markings. The first marking is at 220 ml, the next one is at 250 ml, next is at 300 ml, next is at 500 ml. So the mean capacity or the average mean capacity of bladder is 220 ml. So this is the mean capacity of the bladder, 220 ml. But the capacity varies from 120 and extending up to 320. So but it ranges from 120 to 320. You can see how vast the range is. So as soon as the urine starts filling beyond 220 ml, it causes a desire for micturition. So above 220 ml, there is a desire for micturition. But the actual micturition usually takes place between 250 to the 300 ml. Actual micturition. But the initiation reflex start at the up or above the 220 ml, which is the mean capacity of the bladder. Actual micturition takes place between 250 to 300 ml. So between 250 to 300 ml with the actual micturition will take place. But the desire starts above 220 ml. As the bladder starts filling above 300 ml, it is very difficult to tolerate, but it can be tolerated up to 500 ml. Above 500 ml, what happens? The voluntary control of the bladder is lost and micturition takes place. So as the bladder starts filling above 300 ml, there is the pain starts, but the pain can be tolerated up to how much? 500 ml. Beyond that, the voluntary control is lost and it becomes quite painful to hold the urine, because as the bladder starts increasing in size, it pressures the other viscera as well, and the pain is referred to the anterior abdominal wall. Here the anterior abdominal wall, the pain is referred to anterior abdominal wall, and the perineum, including the penis. So the pain of the bladder is referred to three regions. We have the anterior abdominal wall, the perineum, and penis. So by this we have completed the capacity of the bladder. So let's now discuss about the arterial supply, venous drainage, lymphatic drainage, and the nerve supply of the bladder.